Hello everybody, and I'm back reviewing a Game Boy game. Is it because I have an affinity to old games running on obsolete hardware? Or is it because this game was really easy to get footage for and I couldn't be play a bigger game? It's a bit of one and mostly two. Super Mario Land was a launch title for Little Brick and oddly enough wasn't always bundled in with the console. Instead, the Game Boy was often a separate purchase or it came with Tetris bundled in. Gunpei Yokoi was at the head of development for this adventure, with series creator Shigeru Miyamoto being incredibly hands-off with this project. And you know, it somewhat shows. Not only is this game a hell of a lot shorter than any of the NES games, but recurring characters, enemies and items have also vanished. Luigi has been completely ignored, Peach has been outed the first entry, allowing for Daisy to make a debut, Bowser isn't the villain, we have an alien rat piloting a mech as the antagonist, and Mario's signature fire flow is absent in exchange for the new power-up, the Super Ball. There are some more changes we need to get into, but I'll save that when I get to the gameplay. Super Mario Land was released on April 21st, 1999 in Japan, July 31st in North America, and then a year later for its European and Australian release. Not only that, it ended up selling more than the last home console game at the time, Super Mario Bros. 3. But just because it sold well, doesn't mean it's worth going back to. There isn't much more to the background of Super Mario Land, other than it being a launch title, so no stalling, let's get to it. Mario games haven't exactly been known for a decent story, and I'll not waste too much time on it here. Instead of taking place in the Mushroom Kingdom, Super Mario Land starts itself in Sarasa Land, where Princess Daisy has been kidnapped by the Eight Tanga and taken over the kingdom. Mario stops him. I'm not sure what you're expecting from this. If you play Mario for the story, you might want to think what the hell you're doing. We never really hear from Tanga again, and Daisy is relegated to a side character only wheeled out from Mario Kart or third party game. As the fourth game in the series, or fifth if you count both versions of Mario 2, the gameplay formula has become standard at this point, moving from left to right, giving up hits and enemies to the end of the stage. A boss encounter happens at the end of the final stage in each world, and defeating said boss advances Mario to the next world. The types of hazards Mario can face vary from the typical Goombas and Koopas, that for some reason now combust when attacked, to new enemies that only appear in certain worlds, like these spiders or these running Easter Island heads. The enemy design is a bit out there in regards to the Mario norm. Most of them just seem completely out of place, and regardless, most of them just die in the same way as the recurring ones, so I really don't get the absurdity of some of them. For a couple levels, Mario abandons his platforming skills and takes to the skies. Mario's plane, the Sky Pop, has infinite ammo, but is equally as frail as the plumber, meaning one-hit death at a mushroom. I find these stages a nice change of pace from the basic platforming, but they aren't all interesting in design and layout, which is an issue throughout the whole game. Simply getting from the start to the end of the stage isn't something that should give you a massive challenge, and the amount of hidden secrets, the use of pipes and whatnot is incredibly limited, meaning you don't have an incentive to explore like in other entries. Not to mention, each stage is littered with checkpoints, meaning getting back to a point in stage you may have died at takes no time at all. These levels are a lot of fun to play through, however there's a lot more things to say negatively about this game. First off, this game is stupidly easy. I know it's designed for a more casual audience, and Mario games aren't known for their challenge, except this one, but it's borderline insulting how easy this is. And despite its low challenge, I swear I died more to shit that wasn't my fault. The collision detection with certain enemies is completely whacked. I would jump on what I thought would be the top of the enemy, but no, I just die. Obviously the game is not too great, with being an expensive paperweight, but even when you can see the stages, they really don't stand out all too much. And no, playing on the 3DS Virtual Console doesn't do anything to change this. But my biggest complaint with Mario Land is its length. There's only 12 levels in the entire game, and if you remove the 2 plain levels, that leaves only 10 platforming stages. The hardest level in the game is World 3 too, due to having some really tight jumps and being filled with enemies in awkward locations. But even if you game over here, after we start, you'll be back inside 15 minutes. You can't save the game at any point, but even still, the game is finished between an hour and 30 minutes, so lack of saves or even passwords will be almost redundant. And I know that logic can be applied to most games around this time. Hell, even Mega Man X, which I reviewed a couple months ago, can be in under a couple hours, if you know what you're doing. The difference is challenge and replayability. Even the earliest Mega Man games from 1987 allow you to play the game in whatever order you choose. And most 2D platformers of this time, Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden, Ghosts and Goblins, the classic Mega Man series from 1 to 6, Zelda 2, or even the original Super Mario Bros. Intended for a challenge to be somewhere from middling to ball-bustingly hard in order to stretch out the playtime. Here, it's blink and you miss it. As for music, well, some tracks are decent, like the main theme, Muda Kingdom, and the ending theme. But all the rest is typical Mario music, like the Invincibility song, or is incredibly repetitive, or just dull in the case of the Underground theme, or the plain stages. And believe it or not, that was the entire soundtrack I just summed up in less than 100 words. I can't see myself seeking out the soundtrack to this game ever again unless I bring up reference for something else. And that mindset applies to the game as a whole. It's not this is a bad game. I enjoyed what I played, and there's some nice ideas here. But these ideas either aren't fleshed out enough, or have no time to show off how they could really be used. I think they knew this too. Mario Land 2 is more than double the length of the original, and the third game changed to something completely different with the Wario Land games. I can only recommend playing this game if you are extremely curious on the start of Mario's handheld journey, because other than that, there's no reason to go back to it as something like Super Mario World, Mario 3, or even the Super Mario Bros. Series. Super Mario Land, while being good to play, is not worth your time how much you get out of it. I realise people make it nostalgic over this game, but I can't review a game based on people's experiences. I genuinely can't recommend it above the titles. Super Mario Land is not worth your time to track down and play. I know people may disagree with my opinion, but it's just the way I feel about it. This is a game for your collection, not much more. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.